Welcome to Table Talk with Toddy, a podcast for millennials designed to motivate, inspire, and educate you on what it really takes to live a real life on purpose. This isn't your typical podcast. You can count on me to keep it real, funky, and relatable here on Table Talk with Toddy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Table Talk with Toddy podcast. You are listening to episode number 30. So I was going to do this whole big shebang for episode 30. I was going to bring on some guests and play some music and, do some pretty cool stuff. But I didn't want to hold this episode up just for the sake of that. We can do that on any episode, right? That's just the freedom of having your own platform, right? So welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for checking in with me for another show. Last time you joined me, we had my good friend Paulana Lamonier, who I had a chat with here on the show, and we talked about her tremendous leap of faith as she went after her dream job at Complex Magazine, and she talked to us about that whole situation and kind of the results and all of that. So if you missed that episode, definitely go back and check it out. It is episode 29. And let me know what you think about it. We got a lot of great feedback from it. A lot of great feedback, and that makes me feel good because apparently there are many of you out there who are now motivated to go after some things that you wanted. I know for myself, it definitely put some things into perspective for me because I've been kind of battling with myself here lately about the risk that I have not been taking. And so her being on the show last week definitely put a lot of things into perspective, kind of put some fire up under my butt. And so a lot of things are about to happen because I have to execute. So today's episode is going to be random. And normally I have notes, I have tips and tricks and things that I want to share with you. But today I don't want to do that. I want to totally just go raw and uncut and just kind of share with you what's been going on, what's on the brain, intertwine some of what's to come and all of that good stuff. So if you're kind of like a dot the I, cross the T type of person, I don't know, you may not particularly want to hear this episode, but it's going to be a lot of good stuff in it. I'm going to obviously share a lot of wisdom with you today and also talk about, I think, a couple of things I want to talk about today. Some current events that are happening. So if you're listening to this podcast in like 2019, and this might be dated, but it's still going to be relevant because, I always pull a message out of everything, right? So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I want to talk about, actually, this episode, let me backtrack. It was inspired because yesterday I got a DM on Instagram, and I don't normally check my DMs too often because they can get kind of crazy, but I got a question that kind of just sparked my interest, and it was a very interesting question. And the young man asked me, what has randomly happened in your life lately? And it got me to thinking a couple of things. First, I was like, okay, is that like some shade? Like, is he trying to throw some shade and say that like nothing exciting ever happens in my life? Like, what is he trying to say? And then a part of me was like, you know what? That's actually a good question because here's the truth. And you guys know this. Random things happen every day, and that was kind of like my short answer. Like, my whole life is random. There's nothing about me that reads traditional. Like, everything I do is kind of against the grain. It's against the normal. I'm like the outcast oddball, like, period. And, I'm like the cool kid online, obviously, but outside of that, I'm just definitely a nerd, an oddball, and all of that. So my whole life is random. But that's really what inspired this episode. So I was like, you know what? I'll answer that question. And then I'll throw in some things that caught my attention this week. And then to a question that I always get that I have not really spent time addressing yet is life as a millennial entrepreneur and mom. So if you are a millennial mom or mom in general, then you'll definitely want to listen through this to the end because I'm going to share my thoughts on that. So let's go ahead and just get into it. So anything random that happened in my life lately, I won't say this week because this week has been totally cray-cray. But I definitely did want to share two things random that happened this week for me. Now, I wrote my third book this year, and that whole thing was so intense in a good way until I said, okay, I'm going to take a year off. I'm not going to write another book for another year. And people are still asking me, when are you going to write another book? When is the next book coming? What's the topic of the next book? I kept getting those questions ever since Brand You Like a Boss. And I was like, Jesus, can I take a break? Can I breathe? Can I ride off of the success of this one for a little while? And I was getting very comfortable. Although I've got probably like 3 or 4 manuscripts on my computer already. But I firmly believe in timing. And unless I know for sure it's time for me to release something, I'm not going to release it, no matter how good it is. So anyway, I was just going on through life. And this week I got a lot of signs. You know how God sends like signs that you probably don't really want to see. But I got a lot of signs that I needed to write this 4th book. And even after I knew I needed to write it, I was still trying to find a way to talk myself out of it. I got confirmation earlier this week and I was like, okay, I've got to write this 4th book. And it makes sense for this stage of my life. I'm 29, I'll be 30 next year. And so it's perfect as far as timing. And so I randomly decided to go ahead and release my 4th book. Obviously, I had to talk it over with some people and make sure that logistically it made sense. We still don't have the marketing plan drafted or anything yet, but we have decided on a release date, which I will be sharing very soon. But that was something random that happened this week. So that just goes to show that sometimes you're not going to have things planned out a whole year in advance. You just have to go with life's flow. And I'm very big on that now in my life because there are some things that we do that are forced and pressured and they result in no real effectiveness and they don't penetrate other people's lives or your life for that matter. So I'm very big on that. So book number 4 coming 2018, release date coming soon. The second and really exciting thing that happened randomly this week was I was personally selected to be one of Damon John's ambassadors for his new book coming out in January called Rise and Grind. And if you follow me for a while, I'm a huge Damon John fan, even before Shark Tank. I admire him because of his business sense, of how smart he is, and the fact that he has really done a little bit of everything and is being so successful in those things. I think his latest project was the co-working space, and now the book is coming out. So as an author, I said yes to the opportunity, obviously, for many reasons. For one, obviously the association that would look great on my resume, the experience and the opportunity to learn. I am here as one of his ambassadors really to learn. So this opportunity is going to give me the opportunity to share and get exclusive behind the scenes information about his upcoming book launch and some other opportunities that I can't speak on quite yet. But as with any other opportunity that I get, I'm going to maximize it to the best of my ability and always remain number one, a student, because he's doing something that I haven't been able to accomplish yet. So I'm going to use this opportunity as a learning opportunity, especially as I prepare to release my 4th book. So I've already, accomplished the bestseller. Now it's time to take it up a notch. And I do believe that this is the perfect opportunity for me to learn from one of the best to ever do it. And so super excited about that. I got that email, I believe it was really early Thursday morning, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I didn't actually share it on social media until Friday because I had a lot going on this week. So yeah, those are the 2 random things I guess that happened in my life lately. I'm sure there's a whole lot more, but we'll save that for the book. So now moving right along, the next thing I want to talk about are a couple of things that caught my attention this week. And I don't know, I might start incorporating this into the show because this kind of mixes it up a little bit and it'll give me the chance to intertwine some current events. So how many of you watched the BET Hip Hop Awards show last Tuesday, I think? For the first time, honestly, I actually enjoyed the show and watched it from start to finish. And I don't know if it was because it was in Miami this year or what, because the last couple hip hop award shows I attended years ago, they were in Atlanta, and they were okay, but it was not like this last show. But it was a great show. I enjoyed the Luke tribute. I enjoyed Luke's speech. I enjoyed seeing Cardi B win, of course. It was just a really good show. I don't know. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much. But anyway, if you enjoyed it, let me know. Tweet me, @officialtoddy. But one thing that stuck out to me and I went to social and shared my thoughts on was the fact that if you watched the show, DJ Khaled was the host this year, and I think he was last year as well. But as you know, DJ Khaled is from Florida. He reps, 305? I think that's the area code. If it's not, y'all don't kill me. But what I noticed that he did, although he had the floor, he was the host, he was the center of attention, he still plugged, like, his friends. Like, he plugged... I think the owner of Live, which is a popular night spot in Miami. He plugged the DJ. He plugged people at every opportunity. And it got me to thinking about, this whole entrepreneurial journey, how important it is to have some Khaleds in your corner. So I created this cute little meme and I posted it on my page, and the meme just said, get you a Khaled, get some Khaleds in your corner or something along those lines. And the reason why I said that was because this man did not have to promote anyone. He already got paid for hosting the show. He's already paid, period. He doesn't have to plug anyone. But what I feel, and this is obviously personal perspective and opinion, I feel like Khaled is thriving in the way that he's thriving because he knows how to build community. He knows how to build the power of influence, his power of influence. He knows how to keep the money flowing in the circle. He knows how to put new people on. He knows how to root for people, even when he's the one in the spotlight. And I feel like that's something we could all take away from. I feel like there are not many of us doing that. There are not enough of us doing that. Normally when it's our stage, we want every mic on the stage. We don't want anybody to share the stage with us. And in most instances, that's why we're not winning. And I feel like that would be one of his major keys. So I posted that. And anyway, of course, I got a negative Nancy. Well, actually, it was a guy. And he inboxed me and he said something along the lines of, don't be fooled when the camera's on. Basically saying Khaled was not being genuine with his plugs, which if you think about it, that really doesn't make sense. So anyway, I proceeded and I basically told him, I guess we can only go by what we see. Nonetheless, there's a message in this for all of us. I just basically left him with, it's important that we don't miss the message because of the person that the message is coming from. And when I said it to him, I was like, you know what? I need to take inventory for that as well. And I wanted to talk about that because that definitely caught my attention this week, is that I can't tell you how many people should have probably bought a book, purchased a course, booked a coaching session to get the help they needed. But because they didn't like the person that created the product or that was delivering the message, then they missed out on something that could have possibly changed their lives. And I feel like there are so many of us doing that nowadays. And it could come from so many things. It could come from past issues you've had with the person. It could come from jealousy, envy, hate. I mean, it could come from so many different things. But you will lose if you continue to look at the person that's delivering the message. And that was my message for the young man that inboxed me. Like, I don't even care what's going on or what happened with Khaled or whatever rumor you heard. The point still remains. He's showing us something that a lot of us aren't doing. And I do believe that is why he's winning. So anyway, I digress from that. I could talk about that all day. The next point that I want to make, something that caught my attention this week, and I guess it didn't just catch my attention this week, but I really had time to really think about, is the free mentality has gotten out of control. What is the free mentality, you may ask? The free mentality is the individual or individuals out there who continue to take all of the free that the world has to offer, but they don't invest anything of value into the world. Now, we could talk about this from different perspectives, from different lenses, but the bottom line is this: free will not get you far. Repeat after me, tweet this, snap this, quote this, share this. Free will not get you far. Free is only supposed to be temporary. Free is only supposed to get you over the fence until you can get an ROI, a return on the investment. That could be whatever, right? You can only go to church but so many Sundays and receive the word or whatever you're going there for before nothing happens, because when you leave church, you're not applying what you've learned. You're not reading your Bible. You're not applying, whatever the case may be, right? That's just an example. If you are a new business owner, you can only Google but so much free workbooks, free downloads, listen to so many podcasts, sign up for so many free webinars before you have to make the investment, before you have to actually exchange the money for the next step or the next level, right? But because we live in a society where there's a million different podcasts with a million different topics, a million different opinions. There's so many different courses on the same topics, but being taught by different people. There's so many experts with different life experiences, educational backgrounds, until we feel like if we tap into enough of them, we can combine them all in this big pot, and then we'll get what we need, right? We'll someday birth $1 million business. That is not what's going to happen. And I noticed this recently in my community, because I always pay attention to the people who are always engaging, who are always sharing, commenting, asking questions. However, I also noticed that some of those same people have been asking the same questions for the past 2 to 3 years, right? So no progress has been made because no investments have been made. You can tap into free all day, but free is not what's going to build that $1 million company. It's not what's going to get you to 6 figures. Like, free is to basically cover the surface level of what you need, and then it's up to you to make the next step. So this free mentality has just gotten so out of control, and I do definitely think it's because of social media, the internet, just all of the access that we have. But you've got to put a stop to that and understand that free will not get you far. But those are the two, top things that caught my attention this week. Now, let's get into life as a millennial mom and entrepreneur. So we're going to shift gears here. So if you're not a mom, I guess you could probably log off at this point. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review and let me know if you like this random episode. So now let's shift gears and get into life as a millennial mom and entrepreneur, right? And I'm very passionate about talking about this. Haven't talked about it in great detail over the years. And I guess it's because I document a lot of it. You guys get to see a lot of the behind the scenes of this life on my Snapchats, on my Instagram stories, on Facebook and things like that. And this is definitely a topic that could be its own topic, its own show. But I want to talk very briefly about 2 different points. And again, I'll do another episode on some more points or things that I want to share with you as it pertains to being a millennial mom and entrepreneur. The first point I want to make is that a millennial mom, or a mom in general, I'm just going to say a mom in general, as an entrepreneur, you have to learn to make adjustments. You have to learn to make adjustments. If you cannot adapt to the fact that adjustments have to be made on a regular, daily, consistent basis, then you will not be an effective mompreneur. Okay, I'm just going to combine the 2 words. My son, Tyler, he is 3 years old now. He'll be 4 soon, but he's 3 right now. And if you are a parent, you know that this is the age where they are absorbing everything. They're busy, they're inquisitive, they ask a lot of questions. And my son, he's home with me all day. So he's not in school right now. So I am juggling running my business full time, as well as keeping him home and making sure that he's well taken care of during the day, making sure that I'm still teaching him during the day. And I thank God that my mom is here to assist me with that, because she used to have a daycare. So that's just a way for God to kind of shine his blessing down, because I do have that help that I realize a lot of people don't have. But if you can imagine juggling a full-time business having him full time. And I'm also in college. Many of you may not know that I'm also in college part-time online. I've been for the past 2.5 years working towards my degree. So life for me is super hectic. And so every day there's an adjustment that needs to be made. And I want to even dig a little bit deeper, and this is going to take me to my second point about relationships. I do love. One day I would love to have a healthy, loving, happy relationship. But I firmly believe that when you become a mom and you are an entrepreneur, so you're working towards a dream or a big goal or financial freedom for your children, or you're trying to leave a legacy for your family, I believe relationships come third. And you're probably like, well, you can't count. What's third? It should be your child or children first, you next, and then he or she, or him and her, right? What I'm seeing a lot of, and I'm really now talking to the millennial moms, is the complete opposite of what I just said. I'm seeing them put their significant others first, or if they don't have one yet, their quest to find that person. They're putting that first, their kids next, and their dreams last. And to each its own. However, I firmly believe that you can't be your best in a relationship if your children are not taken care of and if you don't know who you are. And I'm really big on that. Think about if you are already pursuing your dreams and you're accomplishing your goals and you're kind of on the good and narrow path with that, right? Your children are good because now you can afford to put them in a better school. You can afford them the opportunities that maybe you didn't have. And now you find this relationship. Now you're not so stressed about, I haven't yet pursued my dreams yet, and I'm knocking on 30 or 40, and, you feel like you've left something behind. Whereas focusing on your dreams and starting to build that legacy so that you have that one less thing to stress about all the time, and then making sure your children are okay. And then when you get in a relationship, now you have something to bring to the table, right? You're not just in a relationship where it's like unbalanced, only one person is contributing. You want to be in a situation where you are living for you and your child, and your relationship is the cherry on top, right? Then y'all could build together and you both have something to contribute, right? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that y'all are following me with that philosophy. And so I always get asked questions really about, how do you make adjustments, or is it important that you always readjust and change things, and why are you not in a relationship, Natasha, and how does the relationship play into your life as a mom? And there it is. That's my philosophy of thinking. And I believe as a woman, when you become okay with being by yourself, that's when God would truly send who you should have. And so it should never be all, let me find a mate, let me find a partner, let me be in a relationship. Get those goals under wrap. Get your child in a good place and start building that legacy for him or her. And you'll be amazed at how much more healthier the relationship will be. And I'm no relationship expert by any means, but that's definitely been my experience. And that's my philosophy on the whole thing. So again, I'll do a whole nother episode if you guys want me to on that topic. Maybe I'll bring on some of my millennial mompreneurs and get their feedback and get their experience as well. So if you guys want to hear more about that, then definitely let me know. You can leave a review here on this podcast, or you can tweet me at Official Toddy on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/Official Toddy, on Instagram at Official Toddy. Let me know what you think about today's random episode. I had fun. I hope you guys have fun as well. It's been super random, but I do like to share my thoughts as they come to me. It's just more, I feel like it's more effective that way, and it's current, so you guys can know what I'm thinking on a weekly basis. Until episode 31, guys, please don't forget to subscribe, download. Please leave a review, guys. I love to hear your feedback so that I know what to do next here on this show. And don't forget to share this if you think it would be beneficial to someone else. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you soon.